Hi, everybody. I'm Christina Jones, and I am honored and excited to participate in this Olympic Journey storytelling project with USA Artistic Swimming. I want to start by saying that I am so encouraged and inspired by everything that's happening in our sport right now in our country. And I'm so proud of our national team and our national team coach, Andrea Fuentes, and all of her supporting staff, and Adam, our CEO. And I'm just optimistic. And yeah, so I want to say, please forgive me if I say synchro in this interview in this project because I'm still adapting, but I will do my absolute best. So I guess I'll start by telling my story from the beginning. Um, I was one of those kids that did every sport. I did soccer, gymnastics, dancing, ice skating, speed swimming, you name it, I did it. And one time, my mom saw an ad in the newspaper for a local synchronized swimming water show. And I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. So the water show that she happened to see advertised in the newspaper was with the Santa Clara Aquamaids. When I was like 5 years old, I think, I went and I saw Where Mermaids Dwell. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen a Santa Clara Aquamaid Chris Carver production, you have got to. It is outstanding. I had never seen anything like it as a child. I mean, there were floats on the water, the costumes were amazing, the music, the athleticism, the artistry, the beauty, the glamour, everything was just incredible. So incredible, my mom bought me a sweatshirt, which I still have, and a VHS, which I watched on repeat. I mean, I was obsessed. Like when normal kids would watch TV, I was watching this water show. So it was only natural that when my mom saw that the Aquamaids were having auditions, she signed me up to try out. I was 6 years old when I tried out. When I got to swim with the 96 Olympic team in a water show called The Road to Atlanta, right? It was like before they competed at the 1996 Olympic Games and, of course, won gold with straight tens. I had been in a water show with them as a little kid. So I knew these women and they were my heroes. And then I got to watch them on TV win the Olympics with the most awe-inspiring, chilling, beautiful performance ever. And I just watched it a couple days ago and I got chills. I was crying. Like it's just such a beautiful performance. And that really, really changed the trajectory of my life. And that's when I identified my dream of going to the Olympics. And after I identified that, there was really no other option in my mind. Um, I remember when I was in 11 and unders, I know there's different age groups now, but when I was in 11 and unders, I think it was my second year of swimming, I would walk up to my coach every day at the beginning of the season, Robin McKinley, and I would say, am I on the A team? Because the first year I was on the C team, I need to mention, but I would say, am I on the A team? Am I on the A team? She was like, I don't know. And it turns out, she told me as an adult later, like my skill base was nowhere near where the other girls were that year. But she put me on the A team because I wanted it and she saw the hunger inside of me. And so I thank her so much for that. So I kind of just grew up in the Aquamaid program, went to age group nationals with Heather Carrasco as my coach. And that was really exciting at such a young age to compete in other states all around the country. And then naturally after that, I went to junior nationals. And then when I was 14 years old in 2002, I made the junior national team for the first time. And this was a really pivotal moment in my career. I remember not thinking I had a chance at all. And I came in dead last. Um, And it was just such a magical moment when they called my name. And I'll never forget Bill May. He like picked me up, 14-year-old gangly Christina, and like swung me around. And he said, "You're on the national team." And I couldn't believe it. They took us into a room and gave us all this outfitting that year, like right away. It was just literally my dream come true. I kept pinching myself. I couldn't believe it. Um, the next year, um, for national team, I was named as the soloist, one of the two soloists. And that was a really hard year for me because I got an injury in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. I Here I was after this whole setup, and my dream had finally come true. I was one of two soloists for the U.S. junior national team, and a lift fell on my knee, and my patella subluxed completely. So I was out for that season, and it was soul crushing. It was so hard, but I think that that season really uh, gave me a different perspective of the sport, which I needed. For the first time in a really long time, the first time in forever, I was on the sidelines and I was helping video my teammates and give feedback and support them and be their cheerleader. And um, yeah, it was a hard year, but an important one. And then in 2004, for junior national team, we went to Junior Worlds in Moscow, Russia. And of course, that was a really, really huge moment for my synchro career. I swam the duet with Annabelle Orm, and I am 5'9", and she's 5'3". I'll give her an extra inch, I think. Um, so we don't physically match too well, right? That's like never seen in synchro. Um, but that girl is such a fighter. She she swims like like she's 6 feet tall, and somehow it worked. And our routine came in third place at Junior Worlds, and we couldn't believe it. We just couldn't believe how well this routine was received. Um, this routine that was choreographed by Jenny Ihalevsky that we had worked on all year, and we couldn't believe it. And then we did our figures, and our coaches, Tammy McGregor and Heather Carrasco, asked to speak with us in the hotel. And they said, "Well, we got your figure results back, and your place has changed." And we just kind of like, oh man, we got knocked out of medal contention. And they said, "You moved up to silver." And we couldn't believe it. Like, I'll never forget that moment. Our knees went weak. We were screaming. That was so exciting to get the silver in duet at Junior Worlds with my best friend. And and then I went on to get silver in solo, and then our team got third in routine, and our figures unfortunately brought us out of medal contention, but that was still such a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. So that was just like a massive moment in my life. I think it's worth mentioning that throughout um, my synchro career, as it intensified, my parents would always check in with me and say, "Are you still enjoying this?" Because they never wanted me to do something I felt that I had to do. And they would always ask me, "Are you having fun? Are you still in love with your sport? Do you still want to do this?" So I think it's really worth mentioning that the importance of familial support is unparalleled, to have that love and just like that safe place with your family. 2005, I was paired with Andrea Knott to be my duet partner, and she was the replacement athlete for the 2004 Olympic team. So it was a huge honor to be placed with her. So that was our first year swimming as duets. And the first year I was named soloist to the senior national team was 2005 in Montreal at the World Championships. And that was incredible. I really loved creating my routines that year. That was the first time that I had really worked that closely with Chris Carver. Previous years, I had worked with Jenny Ihalevsky. Again, she's like a second mom to me. Chris is my family. These relationships, I mean, I'll carry them with me forever. When I was thinking of the 96 Olympic team representing an orchestra, right? And then swimming for Chris, she's telling you, your legs don't look like a violin. And, because she used to play the violin and she's really musical. And it opened my eyes to the sport in a whole different way. And that was a really exciting year. And then our national team for that quad was kind of formed that year, right? We really gelled. And we went on to compete in 2006, 7, up to 2008 at the Olympics. To have the opportunity to travel the world with these women is irreplaceable. I didn't have the normal high school experience. I was traveling quite a bit. And at some point, mid high school, my parents and I made a decision to be homeschooled through this alternative program. Um, and that allowed me to go to school only one day a week and take proctor tests and then do the rest of the work and study on my own time the rest of the week. And that really opened up a lot of time to train and travel the world with my team. And looking back, it was 100% worth it. So when we qualified for the Olympics, we qualified in 2007 at the Pan American Games in Rio de Janeiro. And that moment, like it really, it became real. We were like, okay, we're going to the Olympics. Wow, let's get to business here. But like something is just different about the Olympics. Something is magical, and something I'll never forget is walking into opening ceremonies and looking around and seeing the entire US delegation wearing, the same Ralph Lauren outfit. And then just standing next to the basketball team. I specifically remember standing and walking in next to Kobe Bryant, actually. And he was so warm and welcoming with our team. And he and his teammates started this USA chant, USA. And it was literally like this tunnel. You're walking into the Olympic Stadium, the bird's nest. It's amazing, with this like light at the end of the tunnel. And then USA. And then you just walk into this arena, and it's just this gigantic festive celebration with the world's best athletes and the world watching. And it's like everything kind of stops during opening ceremonies, right? I remember walking around the cafeteria at the Olympic Village and just being amazed by the different statures of athletes. There might be like a tiny gymnast getting a tray of food next to like a tall basketball player. And I remember thinking, man, each one of these Olympians has a crazy story that got them here today. And um, a whole community behind them, their families, their towns, their coaches, their everybody, just got them here to this moment. And somehow I'm here too with my team, with my friends, with my girls, with my family, like it was unbelievable. Right after the Olympics, I went backpacking with a group of friends. It was so much fun, and it was just like an opportunity for me to kind of like let my hair down. Like up until that moment, I was being told what to wear every day, which outfitting, what time to wake up, what to eat, how much to sleep, when to sleep, and all of that's completely necessary to be an elite athlete, and I understand that. But just to kind of let my hair down and backpack without an itinerary and no rules really is like what I really needed in that moment. And almost immediately after I landed back in the United States, I had my 21st birthday. And so it was kind of just like big events happening. And then all of a sudden, it was over, and it was weird. And I started to think, who am I? I didn't know if I wanted to swim again. I didn't know really what to do. I started school at the local community college. And I remember like sitting in a room of hundreds of students at this community college taking a course, thinking, wow, literally like 3 months ago, I was walking in the closing ceremonies of the Olympics. And here I am, just lost. And back then, that's not really something that people talked about much. And now, I just watched Michael Phelps documentary about this, and it turns out it's a thing, so it's important to talk about. Um, Luckily for me, I got a job with Cirque du Soleil, and that sort of gave me like a breath of fresh air. I was able to swim, but in a different environment. First of all, the water's warm, really, really warm, and you have scuba, so you can breathe underwater. And while there are moments of precision and synchronicity, there is a lot of freedom. It was like a complete shift, but it allowed me to fall in love with my sport in a completely different way and to explore it from a different side. And I thought, I want to bring some of this back to my sport. So in 2010, Jenny Ihilevsky, like a huge, huge, huge childhood coach of mine, was the national team coach. And I came back to swim solo with her. And that was um, the closure of my solo career. We competed in China, and that was a really magical moment to have my old teammate, Kimmy McKinley, and Jenny Hilevsky coach me. And we did this free program that kind of, the theme was human spirit, and it kind of highlighted, um, you know, family. We had voice recordings of my friends, my parents, and I had gotten this idea from Bill's last solo in 2004. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. So I got the idea of kind of combining everything and putting it together. And I thought, that's it. I have nothing else I need to accomplish in the sport. I don't need anything else. I've given it my all. I feel good. All right, Cirque, let's do it. I went to school and got a degree in journalism and media studies. And I graduated in December of 2014. And this is important because literally on my graduation day, um, we got news that mixed duets were added to the World Championships in 2015. And by we, I mean Bill. Bill called me. He's the closest thing I have to a brother. He's a dear friend of mine. Um, and we work together at O, of course. And I've known him since I was a little girl. And he called me and he said, they're thinking of voting mixed duets into the World Championships. And I remember it being midnight backstage at O and me going to his dressing room. And it was just the two of us, like everyone had left. And he told me, like, it got voted in. It got in. And we were just hugging each other. Like, we couldn't believe it. And then, of course, came, um, would you consider maybe swimming with me? Christina Lum was 9 months pregnant when this happened, literally. So we thought, okay, like, there's no way that this can happen. She's 9 months pregnant. And Christina Lum obviously sees no boundaries and is just an incredible, fierce mother, woman, athlete, friend, partner. And we had a meeting in my dining room in Las Vegas with Chris Carver, Bill May, Christina Lum, and myself. And we all sat at the dining room table and we were like, okay, is this going to happen? We started training the tech duet right away because Christina, was delivering her baby, her second baby. She had a toddler and this newborn. And so we trained so hard. We were training during the day. Chris Carver would fly to Las Vegas. We would train during the day and do 10 shows a week at night. And then our weekends, we would fly to Santa Clara and back to our old stomping grounds and train there. And it was just this whole community effort, of people really just supporting us, lifting us up, and helping this vision come to fruition. So we went to Russia, and I think like the biggest the biggest thing about the mixed duets in Kazan was that it was the first time all these men had the opportunity to compete together on the world stage, and that was just so amazing seeing how happy um, everybody was to see each other. It almost felt like all of the mixed duets were actually on the same team. Bill and I swim prelims. We're in second by, I want to say like 2 points or something. And yeah, that was really disappointing, you know. Here I am swimming with Bill May, the best male synchronized swimmer in the world, and we have this program that I'm really proud of, and we have, the best coach in the world, and we accepted it, like, okay, this is what's gonna happen, but I don't know. And then we went into finals. Something happened in Kazan right before finals. We were waiting for live TV. They just kept saying, finals can't happen yet. TV, TV, TV. So we're sitting, we have been warmed up, we're in our competition suits, and we're sitting, I want to say for like over an hour, literally, with all of the other mixed duets. And we're just like waiting to swim. And everyone's just like trying to move. We're not allowed to get in the warm up pool because we have to stay in this area. And then you just have to like swim, you know? So I think like for Bill and I, it was actually an advantage because we are used to starting the show dry at O, right? Like there's not a warm up pool there. You have to warm up on land. So um, we were totally, we were kind of like, this is weird, but we were collected and calm. And all I remember is right before we swam, looking at each other and saying, let's give him hell. Let's give him hell. In the middle of the swim, he whacks me on an element. And I just thought, oh man, that's it. That's it. You know, and I think that by him doing that, it kind of unlocked something in us. Like we were uninhibited all of a sudden because we had already made an error. And it was like we had nothing to lose. We were going into their second place. We made an error and we were just free. And I think like if you watch the swim, like after that, we're just kind of having fun, dancing, letting loose. And yeah, we get out, get our scores, we look at the scoreboard, and I look at him and I say, "Did we just win?" And before I could even finish the question, because I like didn't want to react or like I just wanted to be sure, he had his arms around me, and that moment is huge. I remember looking over at Christina Lum and Chris Carver, and all of us were just bawling. I looked at Bill. He had blood running down his face. I said, "What happened? Why are you bleeding?" He said, "You scratched me when you dove in." um, Oops. Synchro or artistic swimming. It's brutal. It's a contact sport, people. But yeah, that was really a magical moment. And then, of course, to watch Bill and Christina go out and swim this beautiful, stunning, bone-chilling Firebird rendition. Um, just stunning and gorgeous. It was like pair figure skating or ballroom dancing, but in the pool. And I think that's a moment I'll never forget is being in the stands and watching these two who had been dedicated to this for decades just get the opportunity to show the world their vision and share with them and help educate on what a mixed duet should be, a free duet, you know. Um, it's a completely different style, and as far as I'm concerned, it's theirs. And yeah, that was a really special moment. Was definitely done competing in 2015, um, and I had my son Cedric. Uh, oh, I got married in 2017. That's important too. Got married to my husband Pierre. Had my son Cedric at the end of 2019. He just turned one. And we are very lucky to have had this first year at home with him as a family. It's a shame that it took a global pandemic for this to happen, but there are a lot of silver linings in this weird 2020 year, right? And for us, it's that first year with our son.